Hello, everyone. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes until everyone comes in to the live. How are you guys doing? Can you guys hear me? Hello. Oh, yay. All right, so I'm just gonna wait for a couple more people to join before we get started. Just wanna make sure that everybody's in here. Hope you guys are having a great day. Also, my name is Itze, but I'll reintroduce myself later on as well. All right. It's like a fly in here. I hope you guys are doing well today. Hope it's not too much of a stressful day for you. Am I going to be demonstrating baked? Well, I unfortunately don't have a powder with me, but I will be kind of talking you through it. Um, but because I am oily, I'm probably going to like talk about it a little bit more. But I'm gonna wait till everybody else kind of settles in and comes in real quick. Thanks for your question, Dawn. How are all of you guys doing today? Scar on your eyelid. So Sophia, about your scar, the scar on the eyelid, I'm gonna get through it later in a couple minutes. I'm just waiting for everyone to kind of show up first, just to make sure we got the whole group here and we got enough people to start. All right. So as you guys can see in the chat, there is somewhere that you would be able to kind of ask your questions throughout the whole live. If I miss it, there's going to be an Il Maquillage rep in the chat as well, kind of helping me out and excuse me, to answer some questions as well. Alrighty. So we'll wait one more minute before I start real quick. And then I'll introduce myself and kind of talk about what we're going to be doing today, what I'm going to be doing today. Tuning in from Tampa, Florida. Hi, Alexis. Oh, how warm is it over there right now? I am so oily. It's currently really warm where I'm at, so like my oils are like coming out a lot more than usual. I love a sexy bronze look. Well, I'm happy, Star Child, that you like a sexy bronze look, because that's what I'm gonna be doing today. I'm gonna show you how I achieve a bronze look. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. My name is Itze, and I'm obviously going to be doing this live for you today. I'm basically going to be covering how I get my, I guess you can call it your, what is it, bronze goddess look. But before we start out, I do want to kind of talk about Il Maquillage a little bit. So I have my notes right here just because I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So Il Makiage is basically, it is a very tech-focused prestige brand, meaning that they have incorporated technology into their clients' way of shopping. So if you guys have taken a chance to look at the website, basically, in order to get matched, they have you take a quiz. And this quiz varies of different questions, like whether you're medium, light, dark, what color your veins are under your wrist, what jewelry wears better. They'll ask you different questions to kind of narrow down the color of the foundation they would choose for your shade match, basically. And they also match your concealer. Personally, I did not think this was going to work because, you know, as a makeup artist, I'm always one to like, I need to swatch it on me. But this quiz actually is very to the T. When I got my foundation, I was actually like blown away of how close it is. And I do apologize for any noise. I tried to like block everything out, but there's like a main street right in front of my house, unfortunately. But hopefully there's not too many people that come by. So, back to Il Makiage, they are a brand that really likes to celebrate that maximista woman, that high maintenance woman, which I really do love just because like with society, you know, being called high maintenance isn't a compliment, isn't taken as a compliment, but they're very much about, you know, that strong, independent woman or man, you know, if you are high maintenance, that it's totally fine to be high maintenance and to have those high standards, which I, you know, love because there's nothing wrong with having high standards. Their qualities, I mean, they have really good quality products, which are made in Italy. Most of them are made in Italy. The foundation, I love. Concealer, love. Bronzer, love. Basically, their products are really, really good, and I definitely do recommend it for everybody. So, if you guys do have any questions as I'm going along, feel free to post it in the chat, and I'll try to get back to try to answer all those questions. So Il Makiage just commented saying 94% of customers find the match based on our shade matching quiz and 50 shades. We want everyone to feel this flawless. And I definitely do think Il Makiage has a good shade range. You know, it is, I mean, every girl that I've talked to that has Il Makiage or that I've told about Il Makiage, the matching is really spot on. And if it's not spot on, their customer service is really good about emailing you back and forth, and also helping you get that perfect shade. They also do have like, I guess you can call it like a sample that you can purchase, but you're not purchasing the sample, you're just paying for the shipping, and they'll send you a little sample of the color you were matched to for you to try it, and then afterwards, if you'd like, you can purchase the bottle. So I'm going to start off real quick with my foundation, but before you put on any foundation or any type of makeup on your face, I always tell everyone that you always want to prep your skin in order for you to have like a flawless, you know, flawless foundation, flawless skin, makeup, and everything laying so nicely. To me, a big part of that is prepping the skin. So if you have like any skincare routine, I always say go ahead and do that maybe 30 minutes before you put on your, put on your makeup. And if you have to go somewhere fast, just always tell everyone you want to moisturize beforehand. Always moisturize. That's going to help with your skin. So I have already, done my whole skincare routine, did my moisturizer, serums, and everything like that. So the way that I like to start is I'm actually going to prime my face with the Il Makiage No Filter Poreless Base. And this, what I find, oh, that just completely came off. I think I twisted it too much. So what this is going to do is that it's going to give you a very smooth surface to your skin. So what it's going to fill in any pores that you might have or any fine lines like that. I like to kind of massage it into my fingers, and I'm going to go in by pressing this. And I'm going to press this mainly on the sides of my nose and on my nose because this is where I have bigger pores, and I feel like this is where I get more oily. So by pressing this in, I'm going to push it into my skin and make sure it's in my pores instead of just laying on top. That way it's going to help with any oils later on throughout the day. And also it's going to help with making my skin look a lot more flawless and kind of give it like a filter in a way. And I do find that this primer actually makes my face look really, really soft. and like it makes it look like I have a filter on top. So I'm gonna add a little bit more to my chin, just like a little dot, and I'm going to rub this in and also press upward. Okay, so C. Whitehead said, I have visible pores. How do I minimize? So this is definitely going to help minimize those pores. But I also do feel like, skincare comes in big time. I feel like that also helps a lot with anything to do with your skin. So prepping your skin beforehand, like moisturizing, is also going to help fill in those pores as well. So I'm going to start out with the foundation. I'm using the Woke Up Like This in the shade 105. This foundation I really do love. It is very lightweight, but yet it has a very full coverage. So the way that I like to apply it is I'll actually put on like a pump in the back of my hand, and that's very small. I usually end up doing like almost 3 pumps for my whole face because I like that full coverage look. So I like using a round, dense buffing brush. And so what I like to do is I'm going to coat that entire brush on the back of my hand with some foundation. And I'm going to make sure that entire brush is coated, because the way that I like to apply foundation is I like to stipple it on, because to me that is how I get full coverage foundation out of foundation. So I'm just literally going to go ahead and just stipple this all over. And I always start at the bottom of my chin or on my cheeks, right? I mean, the bottom of my jawline or my cheeks, just because this is where I have most of my acne scarring, as you saw. And I don't know if you guys saw like these darker spots that I have up here, but this foundation definitely does cover up those spots, which I really do love. So Mildred said my matching wasn't good. If your matching isn't good, if you do take this quiz and your matching isn't good, customer service, I always tell them, like I always tell everyone, reach out to customer service. They're really, really good with getting back to you and also helping you match your skin to one of their foundations. I believe that they'll ask you to send a picture of your skin, and then they'll ask you what foundation shade you have, and they'll kind of work with you on that, and they'll end up sending you your foundation color. Let's see. Yeah, definitely tag us on any looks that you guys do. If you recreate this look, definitely tag myself and Il Maquillage, because I would love to see if my explaining came through. I would love to see how that comes out on you guys as well. So I just took another pump of that foundation, and like I said, this is a very lightweight foundation. I am such a full coverage girl. I have a lot of problems looking for full foundations, full coverage foundations, just because they always tend to be very thick. And for me, I always get like a warm feeling around my nose. I know it sounds pretty gross, but I hate that feeling. And with this foundation, I definitely do not get that feeling, which again, I truly do love. And I'm taking another pump. Like I said, I really do like that full foundation. And I'm just making sure that I tap this all over my face as well. And I'm not really swiping as much because that's going to give you streaks. So by tapping, I feel like it definitely gives me that full coverage, and it blends out that foundation at the same time. So I'm just going to go over. Okay. And then go around my nose. And you always want to make sure you get like right in the sides of your nose, just because I've like missed that spot a bunch of times, and I'll be out in public and I'm like, oh, there's no foundation there. And then I go right on my forehead as well. Whenever I apply foundation to my forehead, I always make sure that I blend it into my hairline, and I'll literally just flick my brush. This is the only time I'll like rub my brush on my face for the foundation, is to do this. It's because I did get a little bit more tan with, summer being here and all that. And so I want to make sure that, the tan for my face is matching my hairline, but as you can see, it's a little bit lighter. And this is just going to help like the whole, my whole face being one color as well. And then I'm going to take whatever is left on that brush, and I'm going to run it down my neck. Because like I said, I am more tan right now. And then you can see how, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I can use a little bit more foundation just in there. So I'll take like a little pump, and I'll take that brush and make sure I coat it. And then I'll just go back in right under here real quick. And I'm just patting everywhere. Just patting. And then I also like to keep underneath my eyes bare of any foundation, just because I do have very fine lines underneath. I have like one deep set crease under both eyes that I find that if I put too much foundation and put concealer on top of it, it starts creasing. So I try to have as minimal product right under my eyes and around my eyes as I can. Just make sure I get all that, and then go down my jaw. I mean my chin, throat. What is this? Yeah, throat. Let's see. Is it best to apply the foundation with a brush? Can a sponge be used? Thank you for the question, Starchild 729. I personally love a brush. A sponge you can definitely use. I know Il Makiage has like a brush like this, similar to this. It's the 100 brush. A sponge, I personally don't really enjoy using, just because I feel like it holds a lot of the product and it doesn't really distribute the product evenly on my face and give me that full coverage look. So, I mean, I'll use it from time to time, like on clients, just to kind of pat everything out. But I personally love using a brush. Let's see, the foundation matched perfectly, but if I'm wearing a mask, it comes off it completely. Or if I just touch my face, it's all over my fingers, it's all over my sunglasses. What can I do about it? Thank you for the question, Anoshka. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Definitely, if you're using the foundation on its own, I would recommend using a powder and a setting spray. That's going to be your best friend to make your makeup last longer, especially if you're more on the oily side like myself. I always make sure that I like press powder into my face. And a quick tip for your sunglasses, because I know like right here, I wear glasses. Right here is where I get most of my foundation taken off from my glasses. So what I like to do is I'll actually take my glasses and I'll put some powder on this area of the glasses. Wherever it touches my face, I'll put powder on the glasses. That way when I put it on, it doesn't come off. But definitely powder and setting spray is going to be your best friend. So after this, I'm going to go into my concealer. I'm going to use the Fuck I'm Flawless in the shade 8. So like I said before, I do have like very deep creases, and you can see how I have like that little bag under my eye. So instead of going directly under my eye, I actually like to go a little bit lower, and I'll create a line from the side of my nose up to like towards my temple, but I'll stop right at the corner of my eye. So I'll create a line like this. And I usually like to work like one eye at a time, just because I want to make sure that I have enough time to move the product around so it doesn't dry. And I like to take my time blending. So I'm going to use another like fluffy kind of dense brush. And I like using an angle brush just because I feel like it gets up into that inner corner really well. So I'm going to actually pat this out. Again, you never around your eyes want to rub or tug, because that's going to create premature wrinkles. And then with time, if you keep, blending and tugging under your eye, those wrinkles are going to become more prominent. So always make sure that you pat under your eye. So I'm just going to pat it up all the way up into my brow. My eyebrows are done, but that's totally fine, because it's just going to lighten up this area a little bit more, and that's going to help with your eyebrows being a little bit more on the natural side. So I'm just going to go ahead and pat this. And I'm keeping it real tight. And what I'm doing is I'm literally patting that, starting in the concealer and going upward, just like that. That way I'll have very minimal product under my, under my eyes. And as you can see, you can still see the concealer. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take that foundation brush, and I'm just going to pat right along where that concealer meets the foundation. And that's going to blend that out a lot more. And I'm just going to keep on blending this out, and also bring it onto the sides of my nose, because that's going to help kind of snatch the nose later on as well when I put on that bronzer. Just like that. And then I'll do this eye, do that line, and then just pat this up under my eye. Let's see. So I'm going to just keep on patting, get up right up under my brow, and then get close to my eye as I can, but be careful as well. Okay. And then again, I'm going to take that foundation brush and just blend this out, and all I'm going to do is literally tap on my face. You're going to see that the technique that I like to use is a lot of tapping motions, just because, again, you want to it's going to buff it out at the same time without having to like go in and blend your entire face. Okay. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add just one little line on my lids because you can see how I have discoloration right there. This is just going to help with evening out my eyelids to my face. And also, you know, if you end up doing eyeshadow later on, it's going to help as a primer for any eyeshadow as well. And again, I'm just tapping right over my eye. Tap, tap, tap. And this is why I also like using an angled brush for this one, just because I don't have to like worry about like moving my hand too much because it is angled. It gives me the ability to kind of cover my entire eyelid without having to do too much. Just like that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go one more time with my foundation brush around those eyes, just to make sure it's all blended out. And then I'm just going to tap it over my eyelid too, as well. Just tapping. Okay. And then because we are going to be doing bronzer, I'm going to also add this concealer to the highest points of my face. So it's going to be, you know, for everyone, it'll be your chin, the bridge of your nose, and your forehead. So for my forehead, I like to keep do like 3 scratch marks right in the middle. I'm going to keep the concealer very close to the middle of my forehead. And I'm going to bring this down the bridge of my nose, and I'm going to do one line on my chin. This is just going to balance out my face for when I come in with the bronzer, you know, because you're adding that darkness and you also want to add the light back to your face. And I'm going to take that same brush, and then for this, I just go back and forth because I don't really worry about any wrinkles on my chin. So just like that. And you want to keep it like right at the ball of your chin. As you can see, you have like that, what's it called, upside down W. You want to keep it just in there. And then for your forehead, you want to keep it in that kind of dome shape. You want to keep it right in the center. You don't want to go up too far up high. You just want to keep it very close to your brows, just like that. And I'm just patting this out because if I go in and I start swiping everywhere, that concealer will spread because it does have enough playtime to kind of, you know, blend that out. So I want to keep it really tight, and I already have a short forehead, so I don't want to bring this up way too high. And then I'll just blend this downwards. This is just going to help further snatch the nose, as you can see. What brush is used for the concealer? I am using a Morphe brush that was discontinued, but I do believe that Il Makiage has a concealer brush. I don't know the number of it, but I'm pretty sure they have one on their website. I'm just going to do that. And then whatever's left on my brush, I'm just going to go right over my Cupid's bow because I don't want too much product under here because, like I said, this is where I get like that warm feeling. So I'll just do that. So then after this is where I go in with my powder, but unfortunately I don't have my powder. It's still being shipped to me. I like to use a fluffy brush to kind of set my entire face. So this is going to help with your foundation last a lot longer and also to stay on your face and not be transferred over like a lot. Like Anushka was saying. Sorry if I said your name wrong as well. Again, but powdering your face and setting it is what I would do. So typically what I do is I like using a loose powder. So I'll empty out a little bit on the back of the cap. The powders for Il Makiage look like this. So I'll just like pour out a little bit on the cap and I'll put my brush in there and I'll sweep it around. And then what I do is I literally just press this all over my face, just like this. I just go like that. And then also all over my forehead, and I also bring it down my neck because we did add foundation there, so you want to make sure that sets as well. So I would just press the powder all over my face, and then wherever I get more oily, I'll take a smaller brush, it could be looking something like a tulip brush or something smaller, and I'll pick up a good amount of that powder, and what I'll do is just press it in those areas that I'm oily. So for me, it's definitely the sides of my nose, my entire nose, and my forehead. So I'll pick up a good amount of that powder. I'll press that in those areas like that, like this, and all over. And I'm basically baking is what I'm doing. So I'll just press it in like so, all over, and then I'll go in and wipe it right away, just in case I don't get any of those, like a white cast or anything. So I'd press it into the skin and then wipe it away really quickly right after. The concealer is possible to keep the foundation on your face and off everything else. Thank you for your question, Yolanda. Yes, so like I said, powder and the setting spray is going to be your best friend if you get like transfer like that. What kind of powder? I say translucent powder. I am more, tan, so I like to go more for like a beigey tint or a yellow tint because sometimes I feel like even if it is transparent, since I like to bake, I get that little bit of a white cast. So to avoid that, I go more for a beigey tint or a yellow tint powder. But any type of loose powder is perfect for what I just tried to explain. So then from here, this is where the fun begins. This is where I'm going to bring in back the structure to my face. So I'm going to take my bronzer, and I'm using the Waka Waka Mineral Baked Bronzer. So for my bronzer, I like using an angled brush. And I know Il Makiage does have one. It's their 128 brush. It's angled just like this. I always like using angled brushes for my bronzer because it has that like edge on the side that kind of, it places the brush really nicely onto your cheek where you want to apply that bronzer. So in order to bring back, the structure to your face, what I tell everyone is for your bronzers, what you always want to do, because I find that bronzers and blushes are very pigmented, you always want to tap into your product because you want to add a little bit color at a time instead of going in with like swirling your brush in here and going in and starting to tap that on. It's going to be harder to blend out a lot of blush than to keep on adding. So again, I tap into my product, literally do like 3 taps. You can already kind of see that product on the brush. So guidelines for your bronzer. You're basically going to be making a 3 on each side of your face. So you'll be hitting your forehead, your cheek, and your jawline with that bronzer. And so what I always like to start off with is my cheek. And a good guideline for where to place it is if you feel your cheekbones, you basically want to put that bronzer right underneath your bone. For me, my bone's right here, so this is where I'll be placing it. But an easier way to kind of know where you'll place it is take your brush, put it at the tip of your ear, and then take the other side and bring it to the the outer corner of your mouth. This right here is where your bronzer is going to go. But you also don't want to bring it in all the way to the outer corner of your mouth. So then you can take that same brush, go right downward on the outside of your eye. This is where you want to stop. So that bronzer is going to be just in this area right here. You don't want to bring it too far in because then it's not going to look natural. So again, I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to start by, again, I'm going to go in tapping motions. I'm going to tap that in right at the highest point of my ear right up here, and I'm going to make sure I blend it into my hairline. So you always, whenever you come to the sides of your face, you want to make sure it's blended into your hairline. That way, like I said, it looks more natural. So I'm going to go right up here. I'm going to lift up my hair a little bit, and I'm going to start patting right in here. And I'm just going to tap, 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 and I'm going to tap coming down, and I'm just going up and down. I'm not blending or anything. And then when I want more product, I'll just tap back up in here. Do like 3 taps, and you can already see how that bronzer is coming off. So usually just by tapping in on the second time, I get that color that I want, as you can see right there. Right there. So it's coming off very softly. Again, you want to start off with a little bit and slowly build it up. So then what I'm going to do after I'm done pressing, I'm just pressing this and I'm stopping right at the outer corner of my eye. I'm just tapping this right in here, going back and forth. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend and I'm going to flick towards my eye. Because what you want is you want to avoid this area right here of any bronzer, because once you look straight ahead, you can see how that bronzer kind of already uplifted my cheeks. So I'm going to blend upward like this. Always blend up towards your eye because that's what's going to cause the bronzer to lift your face a little bit more. Just like that. And then I'm also going to tap whatever is left on my brush right up in here, right up onto my temple, right on that corner of my eye. And I'm making sure I'm blending back into my hairline. So I have what I like to call a 3-head. It's literally not even a 4-head. So personally, I stay away from adding any bronzer to my forehead because it's already smaller. But if you have, a forehead, a normal size forehead, you can add a bronzer to your head. And what this is going to do, it's also going to shrink the forehead a little bit more. So what I like to tell everyone, again, dip back into your product and you're literally just going to tap this right on your hairline. So I'm just going to tap it on my hairline and you can see how that powder, it's already coming off really easily. So I'm just tapping all the way around is what you're going to do if you want to shorten your forehead a little bit more. So just tapping all in that hairline. And then you're going to also flick back into your hairline, first, and then after that, you're going to flick forward. But you wanna make sure you don't bring it down too far where you added that concealer, because then it's gonna defeat the whole purpose of having that lightness put there, because then it's going to give you more structure to your face. So then again, just blend downwards. Probably move my mirror a little bit, but not too far down. And then I'll take some more of this bronzer, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my jawline. So if you feel like you have too much bronzer, a good tip that I do, I just kind of press it on the back of my hand like so. And my hands are always clean. I always make sure to clean my hands before I do my makeup because I like to use my fingers sometimes. So always wash your hands beforehand or use like a hand sanitizer. That's always like really good, especially with everything going on right now. So for my jawline, I'm literally gonna just place this brush underneath my jawline. You wanna make sure you place this bronzer right underneath because it's going to emphasize that shadow. As you can already see, I have like that shadow going on, and it's also going to help kind of make my double chin disappear a little bit more. So I'm just going to place it right underneath my jawline, and then I'm going to go from the bottom of my ear all the way to the, what is this, my chin. So I'm literally just going to go back and forth. I don't really worry about like having this too blended. Obviously I want it blended out, but I'm not going to like pat just because it's going to help give it more of that shadowy look. So I'm going to go right underneath my jawline, and I'm also going to blend it downwards. Again, this is going to help make that double chin disappear and also just make sure like everything matches. And then a good tip that I always like to say is if you add some of that bronzer, like not extra, but bring that powder right underneath your ear right here and go downwards, it's going to emphasize that little angle that we have right here, and it's going to give you the illusion of a like cut jawline. So I'm just gonna blend that like that, like so. And if you ever feel like it's too harsh, like too much bronzer, you put on too much bronzer, take that powder brush and literally tap right over it. Tap over that, and it's going to take away some of that color. But this is also why I always go in with a little bit at a time of product, so I don't have to do this and like go back and forth. But if you feel like you overdid it with the bronzer, definitely just tap right over it like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. So again, starting up at the top, just gonna tap right in here. And then I'm just gonna dip back into my powder. Add one more layer and bring it up to my temples this time, and then I'm gonna start blending up. And then of course I already did my forehead. You can already see how that added that dimension a little bit. Sorry about that. And then just under my jawline. Just going back and forth and right underneath my earlobe as well. And you wanna blend it downward. Just like that. This is also going to help with my foundation because my foundation is a little bit more on the lighter side right now. It's also going to help kind of even out my entire body because of the bronzer. So after that, I also like to add the bronzer to the eyes. So this is going to help with bringing the entire look together. So let me go ahead and answer some questions right now. I will do a Q&A after I'm done with this, but let me see if I can answer some questions. I'm in more darker skin tones, no matter what color concealer I use. Okay, so Shayla, thank you for your question. Usually when it comes to concealers, I always say you want to go maybe 2 to 3 shades lighter than your skin tone if you want to have that like brightened under eye look. Or you can just use a concealer that is your foundation shade if you like more of a natural look, which is what I prefer. But also, you know, what if you want that lighter look, definitely go like 2 shades lighter. For your bronzer, I always say you want to go maybe, again, 2 to 3 shades darker than your actual skin tone. Let's see. Yes, it does. I want 2 shades lighter than your foundation. Let's see. Charlotte says, I have the 215 woke up like this. Concealer, would I use or what number? I would have to, I would have to look on the website to see what shade you are to kind of give you like, I guess a guess of what color concealer would work for under your eyes. So I'm going to take my bronzer, I'm going back to this, and I'm going to take a fluffy eye brush. The bigger, honestly, the better, but you don't want it to be too big. So what I like to do is, again, I'll dip into this bronzer, do like a couple taps, have a little bit of product on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pat out my eye just because I don't have any powder right now, but typically my eyes would be set with powder as well. So once I powder my whole face, I do it on top of my eyes because my eyes do tend to get a little bit more oily. But I always make sure I pat this out before I add bronzer to my eyelids. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blending brush and I'm going to start at the outer corner of my eye. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and forth. And you can feel that bone that you have right here. That's where you really want to go. So because the brush is fluffy, it's not going to apply a ton of color, a ton of pigment to your eye. It's just going to be very faint, but it's going to bring structure to your eye. So again, I'll start right out here and I'm literally just going back and forth like this. Just back and forth in windshield wiper motions. And I always start out at the outer corner because if I do have too much product, I rather have more product on the outside of my eyes than on the inside. This will also kind of help make your eyes look a little bit more smoky. So starting on the outside, going back and forth just like this. And then I also bring it in right here, right on that bridge, right under my eyebrow. And this is going to actually help me guide my brush into bringing that bronzer down my nose, just like that. And you want to make sure you go on top of your nose. So you don't want to put it to the side. I'm going to, again, start out in the outer corner and then bring this down like that. And this is not going to give me too much like cut out nose, but you can see how it defines that nose a little bit more. And then just by connecting that entire thing, it's going to give you more of that natural look to your makeup look. And then again, doing it on this side, just going back and forth, picking up a little bit more, starting on the outer corner, going back and forth on my eyelid, and then slowly starting to concentrate more on this bridge right here. And then I'll bring it down my nose. So if you are able to connect the bronzer from your eyebrow to your nose, that's going to help make that nose contour look more natural as well. So I'm just going to add a little bit more, again, starting off in that outer corner and then bringing that into that bridge of my nose and bringing it downwards. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of this bronzer right underneath the tip of my nose. This is going to make my nose look a little bit more shorter, and it's also going to kind of like perk it up, as you can see, just a little bit. And then I'll add a little bit right under my lip, my bottom lip, right here. And this is going to help make my lips look a little bit more full. That bottom lip, as you can see, it's just going to add a little bit of shadow, but not too much to where it's completely dramatic. And then I'll dip again back in here. And this time I'm going to pinch this brush and I'm going to go right underneath my bottom lash line. And again, this is just to kind of connect the entire look, like the eye look and the face makeup together. Go right under here. And this is just going to make my eyes look a little bit more smoky, and it'll definitely make me look a little bit more bronzed. So I definitely do feel like this is like a little harsh of a line, so I'm just going to go kind of back and forth right here. The bronzer is very versatile, Ruth. I love this. This bronzer is like my favorite right now because I am liking a very more, not dewy, but kind of like satiny dewy look, a more natural look. Because it is a mineral baked blush, it has a bit of a glow to it, which I really do love. And you can see how it brings that glow to my face. I mean, some of it is my oils coming through, but you know, it happens. So after I do this, you can keep it as it is. You can go ahead and add blush. I currently don't have any blush, but I'm going to add some highlight because I love highlight. I can't live without highlight if I ever go out anywhere. I always make sure I have this on. And this is just going to bring light, again, back into your face. So even though you already put like the concealer underneath, this is just going to give you that natural glow. So I'm going to pick up like we'll call this like a big eyeshadow brush, you know, something that's, you know, a tulip brush can work as well, something that's small enough just to fit on your cheek. So for the highlight, the way that I like to do this is I'll pick up some on my brush, right? I'll just kind of smother it in here, go in circles, coat the brush. And a good tip that I like to say is for your highlight, you're literally going to be making a C on like around your eye. So, excuse me. So you want to go right where that light naturally hits your cheeks. So as you can see, that light is naturally hitting right here. I don't want to bring it too far under my eyes because then it's going to start looking a little bit more like sweat and more oily. So I always start off on my cheek right here, and I'm just going to go like in long circles, and you're going to see that highlight come off. And I always start off with my cheek first because, like I said, I am dewy. So this is like, you can already, I mean, dewy, I'm oily. You can already see how this is kind of like oily and it's looking dewy. So I start off with my cheek, and then I'll curve right around my eyebrow, just right here, like that. And then I'll pick up a little bit more powder, just whatever's left on that cap, and I'll go right underneath my eyebrow. Pick up a little bit more, go right there. You can see how that makes that brow pop a little bit more. And if you are on the drier side, I always say you can add some highlight right above your brow, not too much, just like a little bit of tap right up here. And then also I'll add some to my Cupid's bow, and that's going to make my lips look a lot fuller. And then we'll go ahead and do the other side right here. Add it on that cheek, curve it around the eyebrow, then pick up a little bit more for your brow bone. Just right there. Let's see. I'm going to look at these questions real quick. The foundation is clean. Figure out if it's too dark. I'll finish first and then I'll go through that actually. Okay, so I have my cheeks highlighted, my temples highlighted, my Cupid's bow highlighted, and I'm also going to highlight right on the bridge of my nose. I personally like to keep it right in between my eyes because I don't like to elongate it too much because then it's just gonna make my nose look a little longer than it really is when I already kind of shortened it, so it's going to defeat the whole purpose of the bronzer. So I'll just add it right in here, right in between my eyes. I don't know how to turn the email sound off on my computer, you guys. I'm really sorry. Right there. And then I'll actually go in with my pinky, and I'm going to pick up some of that loose highlighter. This is in the shade Satin. This is a mineral highlighter. I don't think I mentioned that. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to pick it up with my finger just right there, and I'm literally going to touch the tip of my nose like 3 times. That's all you need. And then you'll take like a clean finger. I'll take a clean finger and just pat over it so it's not too intense. And then I'll just pick up a little bit more, and I'm going to add this to the inner corners of my eye, and you guys are going to see how this lightens up like my eyes completely, and it makes you look a lot more awake than what you really are. This is one step along with like bronzer that I don't ever miss. So once you're able to go back to work, this is like a really cool tip just to kind of open up your eyes a little bit more and make them look a little bit bigger, which I really do love. And I just press it right in there. I'll pick up a little bit more. And then on the other side, just press it right in there. And if you ever feel like you overdid it, just take a clean finger and pat right over it. And then I'll add a little bit more to my Cupid's bow right here. And again, if you are on the dry side, you can add a little bit to your chin. I don't add it because I am oily. So you can just add a little bit, just like dust it, and that's going to give you a very healthy glow. So after this, your face might be looking really powdery, but it's totally okay, because then I always tell everyone that you want to use a setting spray. If you are dry, I recommend a hydrating setting spray. If you are more on the oily, maybe anything that just helps make your makeup stay on longer. I really do love the Il Makiage hydrating spray. I sadly ran out of it, so I don't have it with me. But what I do, I literally just spray it all over. Whatever setting spray you have, just spray your entire face, literally drench your face in it. And that's going to help all those powders melt nicely into your skin, and it's not going to make you look too powdery or too dry. It'll give you like that nice hydrated look. But if you're like me and you're oily, I still love that setting spray, the hydrating one from Il Makiage, but what I do is I literally cover just the center of my face, and then I'll spray everywhere else. That way I avoid adding more hydration into the middle of my face where I get oily already, so I don't look like a greasy mess later on in the day. But then other than that, that's literally how I achieve my bronzed goddess look. And then I always end up doing a lip. I always finish the lip. I mean, I leave the lip for last just because I like doing my entire face first and then doing my lips. I'm just gonna go ahead and line them real quick, and this is the waterproof lip liner in the color Naked. So I'm just gonna line it up. I'm sorry, I'm not talking, you guys. Just like that. And then I'm going to actually also fill in my lip with this. Because it is waterproof, it definitely lasts a lot longer than a regular lipstick. So just something like that. Just very natural. And then you can also, because it is, you know, waterproof, I also like to put either a gloss or some chapstick right on top, just so my lips aren't too dry. All right, and I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, my mascara. So I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes real quick. I always need to do this because, as you can see, my lashes are like pinched straight, but I find that using the Il Makiage mascara and like curling my lashes does help with keeping my lashes nice and curly. So I'm just going to go ahead and just crimp these real quick. I was gonna say tweeze, but that is not the right word. I'm gonna move my mirror to see if I can answer some questions real quick for you guys. Let's see. How would you incorporate blush into this look? Okay, so blush, because I don't have a blush with me, I'll just kind of show you how I go about that. You can use the same brush you used for the bronzer. Just make sure you kind of clean it off on the back of your hand or on a piece of paper so you don't have that bronzer on there. And what you do is you just literally, you know, dip into your product. Again, do like 2 taps, smile, and whatever part of your cheek pops up, that's where you want to go with your blush and start tapping. You're going to tap, and the second you see that color payoff, you're going to start tapping to the back, right to your temple. And it's going to be just in that same way you applied your bronzer. So I'd start tapping right here and then tap all the way back. And then just with that same tapping motion, it's going to blend out that blush. Again, you're going to smile, start at the balls of your cheek, and then tap it back into your temple. And because you are using that brush, it's going to help blend your blush and your bronzer together as well. That was the one thing that I like didn't add on to there. Oh, eyelashes. That's what I was doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and tweeze these, crimp them a little. And then I'm going to take the mascara, and a good tip that I like to do is I actually like to look downward. So if I have, you know, my mirror, I'll kind of flip it up like that. So I'm looking downward. That way I don't get any mascara on my lid, because I do have long lashes and I tend to always accidentally add some mascara to my lid without, you know, wanting it there. And this mascara is actually really nice, and I find that it lasts like, you know, obviously all day, and it helps keep my lashes curled all day as well. And then I'll do my bottom lashes right there. Right there. Just like that. All right, and I always tell everyone that you want to make sure you do mascara after you do your setting spray, just because there could be that chance of you closing your eyes while your mascara is still wet and kind of spreading it all around your eye. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions. I'm going to scroll through the chat real quick. Let's see. Ana Castro said, take the quiz about the concealer. It helped me to nail my color. Yeah, so definitely that quiz definitely does help you kind of get the closest shade to you. If it's not the perfect shade, like, again, you can contact customer service and they'll definitely help you out with that. Could you show your finished look in the sun? I actually can, but I will answer the questions before I do that, just because I want to make sure that I answer all the questions that I can. Thank you for that question, Kyla. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Ruth. Let's see. So Kyla, you said the foundation, you feel like it dries your skin out. Definitely try out the setting spray, the hydrating setting spray. That's going to help make your face feel more moisturized and not too dry. Did that. Same color as my lighter, so I think it's too dark for me. How to confirm it's too dark? Oh, well, Il Maquillage answered that for me. Let's see. Natural soft looks. Thank you for your knowledge. Oh, thank you for the comment, Angela. Before or after highlighter. So Lakeisha asked, blush before or after highlighter? I always do it after bronzer. So the last powder that I put on my face would be highlight, just because I like having, I guess, having more of a precision. Like, I like, how do I explain that? I feel like I have more control as to where I want to add that highlight. I'm sorry, you guys can see the shadows from outside. I am so sorry. Let's see. Do you guys have any other questions maybe, or something that I didn't explain too well that you kind of want me to re-explain? I use setting spray and my foundation still bleeds on things. What am I doing wrong? Thank you for your question, Nicole. Nicole? I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. I'm so sorry. Definitely, you know, if the setting spray is not working, try to incorporate some powders. That I find does for sure help as well. Also, depending on how you're prepping your skin, because it is more of a demi matte finish, even though you are doing your skincare, I said do your skincare routine. Like I said, you want to do it maybe like 15 to 20 minutes before you put your makeup on, just because you want your face to soak up that moisturizer. But definitely use a powder. Use a powder. If you are oily, definitely kind of bake those areas that you're more oily so it doesn't transfer too much. Thank you, you did awesome. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Vihelani, I believe it's how you say your name. That's a beautiful name. I'm a newbie. What does the term bake mean? So the term of bake mean is literally taking a pretty good amount of powder and pressing it on your face. Like you're basically over powdering. You want the powder to look very visible on your face. So once you have that powder completely on your face, what it's going to happen is, with the temperature of your skin and that powder blocking your pores, it's going to melt that powder into your skin and also help with any oiliness that you do have, and also just to set any foundation or concealer. I hope I'm explaining that good enough. I learned so many tips. Thank you. Well, thank you, Kari. I'm happy that you guys could pick up some more tips. If you guys do have any other questions, you know, definitely feel free to ask here, or if you forgot your question, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is my full name. It's Itze de Jesus. And I can answer more questions there as well. Thank you so much. Have an awesome evening. Thank you, Elizabeth. Have a great evening as well. Really, I enjoyed this tutorial. I learned a lot. Oh, yay, I'm happy. Thank you for your great class. Thank you for coming, Hannah. Thank you. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you for coming. And I really do hope that I wasn't babbling too much, because I tend to kind of over talk sometimes. Will you list the products and tools you used? I don't know if I could list it on here, but I can kind of go over to show you what I used. So I first started off with the primer, the No Filter Poreless Base Primer. After that, I went in with my Il Maquillage foundation, and you could definitely, I used, again, a round, dense buffing brush. You can use the foundation brush from Il Maquillage. It's the number 100. Also looks very similar to this one. After that, we did concealer under your eyes in the middle portion of your face as well. And then after that, you would powder, but I just don't have a powder with me, which is why I look kind of oily right now. And then after that, you would go in with your bronzer, do the tapping on the cheeks, forehead, jawline, just going back and forth, and also your eyes and your nose, your lip as well underneath. And then after that, you can go in with the blush if you have a blush, in the way that I explained, kind of smile and just pat it right here and slowly blend it back to your hairline as well. And then you'd go in with your highlighter, and then I do lips, and then mascara I always do after I have set my face. Let's see. I'm having such a hard time with putting makeup under my eyes. So if you are, let's see, if you don't have a brush, because I always find that doing it on the brush, I always tell everyone to try to get like your brush covered with your product, but not drenched in your product. You want a good layer on it, so when you go in and you pat under your eyes, you'll have good coverage underneath. You don't have to use a brush. You can use your finger. If you use your finger, always use your middle finger for around your eyes. It is the lightest, I guess, finger that we have in our hand, so it's very light to the touch. And you literally just pat. It's just a lot of patting under your eye and looking up and just patting in an upside down triangle like that. It's just going to be a lot of patting. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you all. Thank you, guys. So the video will be posted on YouTube on Il Maquillage's YouTube page, so you can definitely look back to this tutorial live. Can you show a picture of you before? You look beautiful. Thank you. I don't have a picture of me beforehand. Will this look be accessible? Yes, the video will be accessible after, Cynthia. Thank you, Jacqueline, for your lovely comment. Okay. Let's look. And just another quick tip, you guys, if you guys are beginners, just practice. Honestly, practicing putting on makeup is going to make you better. It will take time. You know, it's not going to be like the next day you're going to be pro. But definitely just play around whenever, you know, you have time off. Just play with your makeup. Do half of your face. That's what I used to do. And just play with it and get used to the way that your face is structured, because all of our faces are structured differently. So you just kind of feel out where you have those hollowness on your face, and that'll make it easier for you to kind of know where to place that bronzer. All right, guys. Well, I hope I could help a lot, and I gave you guys tips, and I hope you guys, you know, can work them into your makeup routine. Again, if you guys have any questions that maybe I didn't answer, I didn't see, or maybe questions you forgot, feel free to send me a DM through Twitter, through Instagram. It's at Itze de Jesus, my full name. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope you stay safe and healthy with everything going on. And I don't know, maybe I'll see you soon. Or not, I don't know, but I just hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I enjoyed doing this workshop with you guys. Hopefully it wasn't too all over the place. But with that being said, have a great rest of your day, you guys. Bye.